I want
Hey
how
guys,
the
by
Eagles
the
will
way,
do.
I think we're all friends, the three of us. We're so excited to talk to each other. You know what I mean?
That's right. It's better.
Isn't it nice?
What a bold statement that was.
No, but could you imagine if it was miserable like this far into it? I'm like, you gotta do it. Like
We'd have to change our name to Enemies Talking Shop.
Sucks, man. No, we STS, Stuck Talking Shop.
That's right. We're like the early Beatles.
Because
But
like
not
we're
the late
three of
Beatles.
us, if like one of us backs out, like the other two are gonna give us. It's like there's sort of pressures on all of us, like a triangle. You know what I mean? We're all like stuck.
We are Stuck Talking Shop. That is good.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. There's no way out. It's a Kevin Costner movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FTS Podcast, Friends Talking Shop. It has been a little bit of a delay since our last episode, which we'll get into a little bit. First, I'm your host, Dave. I am on week 2 of being in New York City, so lots going on for me this week. Packers
David
just
met
won.
David met every single person in New York City, I think, in the last 10 days. Because anyone who asked David to do anything, he says yes to.
I do. Well, no, that's not true. Not everything, but the things above the line.
10 million dinners.
We have, so here's what I'd say. Is we have very good friends here in New York, and
That's true.
I got to see a number of them, and it was a very good time and feel very blessed. Among you two is all the friends that we have here. I do want to make one shout out to a fan that we have, Trevor, who listens to our podcast religiously. And good looking boy, apparently, I've heard. He's looks a little bit like me. I actually have a picture of me when I was younger, and apparently we are a spitting image. So
It might be you from the future.
Wait, I'm completely confused. Who is this person?
Trevor, he's a big fan. That's all you need to know.
yeah. So I have a big fan. He has a brother too that I should read.
Like Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jaguars? Is that
No,
why?
not that Trevor.
He knows
Okay.
who he is. I can tell you.
Something tells me we've a listener named Chris and probably Sam and Matt.
All right.
Should we
You
give
know
them
what?
a shout out too?
If you want to minimize Trevor's fandom, you go right ahead. but
Yeah.
I
Look,
refuse to stand
Wait,
by that.
is there concrete evidence of this aforementioned?
Yes.
yes, there is. So
Okay.
he's very excited. Stop making this uncool. Anyway, so Josh, you can dub this whole thing.
That's assuming it was cool to begin with at some point.
I tried to make it cool.
Go there.
How about less cool?
Yeah. So I should say goodbye, Trevor. It was nice having you listen to the FTS
Yes.
podcast. We're so sorry that. Anyway, so I've been in New York for this week, having a very good time, learning a lot, and it's been great. So in fact, we were supposed to get together, the three of us, last month, and so I will introduce our second host to explain exactly why this didn't happen. Our other host is Josh. One of our other hosts is Josh, Josh, you did not make it to New York. Want to tell me how you're doing and what happened?
Yeah, I was going to put that into my topic here, but since you've forced my hand, right before
You don't have to go into the whole thing. Maybe high level.
I'm not going to
I
go
don't
into the
know.
whole thing. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. But right before I was supposed to come out to see you guys, I got tested positive for COVID. So that's my first time having COVID, and it's not been pleasant, but it hasn't been awful either. But I still have a nagging cough. My taste, though, started to come back today, which was very, very exciting. I could taste my piece of bacon this morning. That was big time.
So,
All right,
what's the verdict? Was it worth shutting the country down for a year? I'm kidding. Don't answer that. I'm kidding. This is not a political show.
You're coming in hot, Omar.
I almost answered that.
Can I hear
Such
some
a
Ron
fool.
DeSantis? Kidding.
Here's the
I'm
thing,
kidding
though.
about that too.
With COVID, I always said, like, if I lose my taste, because my dad had it a little while ago and he lost his complete taste. I said, boy, if that ever happens to me, I am going to eat the shit out of vegetables because I don't eat enough vegetables. I hate vegetables.
Oh,
And this is a chance for me to just cram vegetables down my gullet for a solid 3 or 4 days or whatever, however long I don't have taste. But I
wonder
didn't
if your
do it.
body would be able to digest it. I don't think
I didn't do it.
Your body's used to like chicken wings
Yeah.
and cheesesteaks,
I still was forcing that shit into my pie hole,
fried.
hoping that I would taste it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there eating like some of my favorite foods, looking at my wife going, I taste nothing. It's like eating
didn't stop?
cardboard.
Yeah.
No, of course, I got to eat. I should
Now,
have
did you
been
try-
shoveling broccoli.
Was there anything like I heard ice cream sometimes is kind of cuts through and
You know what it was? It was like if something was very sweet, I would kind of taste the sweetness, but that's about it. I wasn't enjoying
Okay.
it.
Have you guys
Alright.
ever, you can enjoy food just by smelling it often.
Yeah, you couldn't smell either, though. That's the whole point.
Oh.
They don't have taste or smell.
yeah, I think they go hand in
Even
hand.
even
don't
even with that nose, huh?
Yeah, even
That's crazy.
That's correct.
they? My
Oh
goodness,
my
Omar
that
is
was too easy.
man,
It's all right.
he's playing whack-a-mole
I'm
over
a
here
big
with
boy.
the two of us. Yeah. Well, as you know, here's our third host, Omar. Omar, how are you? And why don't you explain to everyone how when Josh couldn't make it, you completely canceled on me. You want to start
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. No, that is pretty accurate. You know, we had a whole thing planned, didn't we?
We did.
We
And, I got left by my lonesome.
with a live show. It was going to be a live, all in the same
Yeah.
location show.
Yeah,
We may have
gave
another
out,
chance.
there was a free lot. There was a lottery for people to come see us, and no one took any tickets. So it was gonna be just the three of us in the room, basically, with a lot of
That's it.
echo in the background.
Well, where are you right now, Omar? And how are you doing?
I'm in Puerto Rico, and yes, ironic is the wrong word to use, but I would have been unable to make it either way because of the hurricane. The
Yes.
airport was shut down here on Monday, so I was here for the hurricane, but I was very fortunate.
And
I
judging
filled
by
in.
your background and all the bright lights you have going, it is apparently it is apparent that you're sucking all the energy that the rest of the island is not getting.
Yeah.
Into your condo.
If you
Well,
were in
up until-
orbit above the Earth and you were over Puerto Rico, you'd see one shining bright light.
You'd see Omar's condo, which
I've
is
had-
running like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory,
That's it.
while the rest of Puerto Rico suffers.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I actually had the power off the whole day until about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, you weren't home.
Exactly.
Well, he's doing good work here by entertaining the world, really, as with our podcast. So
That's
yeah,
true.
I think you're totally fine. Well, I'm
trying to do
glad
my share. Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're safe, and I'm glad to be here too. So let's get this show started. First of all, I'll explain it real quick and then give our email. What we're going to do is each of us are going to go through a topic that we've not prepared and discuss it for a little bit. And if you'd like to give us a topic or respond to anything, especially if you're a family or friends or whatever, our email address is friends@fts.media, friends, plural, at fts.media. All right. So as we get started here, I think we got all the preliminaries out of the way. What I want to jump to is I got to hear about your weekend, Josh, which I think this is going to be your
Oh.
topic. So I was
Yeah.
going to
This
lead
is-
with this.
This is the Brokeback trip.
Yes. This is the cornhole weekend. So how did I guess
Yeah.
you caught COVID over it?
Yeah.
So-
Apparently, it appears as though I might have had COVID prior to even leaving, which is I guess not so funny part. But I got the bivalent shot on Monday.
What's
last Monday. That's the new COVID vaccine.
Oh, for Omicron?
So for Omicron, exactly. So I got that vaccine. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to be doing some traveling here. I got this weekend ahead with my college buddies that I talked about on the last episode, and then we're going to New York to meet you guys. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Let's just get this shot, get this vaccine, and then I'll feel better about all these other trips coming up. So I got the shot on Monday. Tuesday, I felt like shit. So I had
Wait,
like
but I have
fever.
a question. This shot
Yeah.
you took,
Yeah.
David, have you heard of this shot before?
Of course he
Yeah,
has.
it's the
He's not
new-
living in a friggin' hole.
I think it's called the second booster, right? Is that what
Second
it's-
booster. I had a
bivalent.
second booster. How many
It's called the
boosters are there?
bivalent shot. Do you get news down there in Puerto Rico?
I don't listen to any more of that stuff because it's like it's
What
it's
stuff?
like the OJ.
News?
It's like the OJ car chase. There's always something that's like
No.
that takes off my fight or flight.
It's
So you
not
got
the
a
OJ
booster.
car chase at all.
And what's the name of this one? Of this
The
booster? OJ?
bivalent.
The
that just got
bivalent.
just got
Listen,
approved, right? Like a
listen.
month ago.
Listen, yes, it's new. Pfizer and Moderna got to work once Omicron took over because they noticed that the old boosters weren't doing shit really for Omicron. People were still getting it even though they were boosted like you were. So they came up with this one. How have you not heard of this?
Bivalent. That sounds like the new Hugh Jackman movie.
What?
Like
Bivalent.
what other Hugh
I don't even
Jackman
know how to
movie?
respond to this.
Wolverine, The Music Man, not The Music Man. What was the other?
Did you hear the Queen died, Omar? Were you aware of that the Queen died?
Yes, I did hear that.
Now, where did you hear that?
Someone told me. I have people I talk to who live in London.
That's his news.
You don't have to live in London to know the Queen died. It was all over the place, all the time. You couldn't get away from it. Anyway,
All right, so you got the shot,
So I got the shot.
but you got sick on Tuesday.
Tuesday, I felt like shit. Now, I thought that this was a reaction to the shot, a side effect. Because the last time I got the booster, I felt the same way the day after. And I'm like, okay, this is just a side effect, and I'll be fine soon. Wednesday morning, I fly to St. Louis because, as you know, my weekend retreat was in St. Louis. But because I also have work in St. Louis, I was also going to do some work there too. And still not feeling great on Wednesday. I went to a dinner that night in a private room with 15 people shaking hands.
Is this the first they're hearing of it right now?
No. I went back and called them and told them.
You did? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I said, hey guys, guess what?
You called 15. You called 15 people.
No, I didn't call 15 people. It was a dinner that was taking place whether I was there or not. I was invited to the dinner.
Okay.
And I
But you let them know you got COVID. Who did you let
Yes.
know you got COVID?
Yeah, but how did but how did you do that? Did you
Just
a carrier
you
pigeon?
let two
Or did
people know.
Was there
I
a
let
carrier?
two people know because I don't really know the other people.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay,
That's
so
fair.
okay. Well, who knows? You know that game. What's that game called? The telephone game. Like if you tell multiple people something, the whole thing might change.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows what got that?
Yeah.
I don't even. I mean,
It's a small room you were in too, right? It's
yeah. It was
you probably
unfortunately,
gave.
it was a private room too. That it was 15 of us just in this private room, or whatever. It was
boy.
12 people. I don't remember. It was something around that.
All right.
So it had that, and then of course that night, a couple of my buddies came in because we were leaving the next morning for our place for the weekend, and we all stayed in a hotel room together, and that's ridiculous.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And then the
Omar,
next day,
this is insert "Did you wear clothes?" comment here.
yeah,
That's the
the next day, we then drove in a car together, a confined vehicle, to the house, and spent the weekend together. And sure enough, a couple of them COVID positive.
How was the house?
Okay, so that's what I want to get into. That's my topic. So we get there. Now the house, if you remember,
Wait, Dave.
from the last episode,
Dave, did you say that Josh could go first?
I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
I
are you
did.
paying
Yeah.
attention?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
What's
really
going
are
on?
on fire today. Are you
Yeah.
upset?
No, I'm very focused on this. I'm very into
I don't
this
think you're
right
very
now.
focused at all.
No. Well, I mean, kind of.
Do you remember the part where Dave said, "Hey, I want to hear about your weekend first, Josh," which is also your topic. Remember that part?
Yeah, but I thought maybe you were going to say how you were doing. Then we were going to me how I'm
No,
doing.
we already did how we were doing.
Oh, we
Yeah.
did.
Did that? Remember
Yeah.
that?
All right.
You said you were doing
Okay.
fine.
That's where he made fun of me.
All right. Perhaps you're right.
Yeah.
We can go
Yeah.
back.
Remember the
But I
tasting
do want to hear
smell?
about the house. Like, were you happy when you drove up? Were you
I
happy?
apologize for our listeners for doing a recap of the first 90 seconds. 90 seconds after you heard it.
Yeah.
It's not intentional. I
So
apologize.
if you remember, which obviously Omar doesn't because it's 90 seconds is a little too long to remember things. But last time we got together, the house, I was worried about the noise and the proximity.
The rules.
Yes, the rules that we got and how everything was going to be really problematic. Turns out we didn't even realize the problems we were going to have. The problems we thought we were going to have were not the problems we had. And the problems we had were not the problems we thought we'd have, if that makes sense. If I even
right.
said it correctly. So when we got there, the biggest thing, the house was nice. We were walking through it like, oh yeah, this is really nice. It's got, it's got a big shuffleboard table. It's got bubble hockey. It's got all sorts of cool things. It's
Wow.
Great big meeting room.
How many bedrooms?
6.
Okay.
So we don't share beds at all. That's a thing we stopped doing about 10 years ago.
No head to toe.
No head to toe, exactly. There was one room with bunk beds, and the last people who showed
Oh,
up.
head to toe.
Yeah, head
There-
to
you know, that's a song, actually, right?
I think he'd love you from head to toe.
Is that by the
Head
Miami
to
Sound
toe.
Machine?
No, that sounds like a Miami Sound Machine, Paul Abdul type of
Yeah.
of hit. Anyway, I think it was an 80s or a 90s jam. It could be Lisa and the Colt Jam. Actually, now I'm thinking of it. Anyway, so when we got outside, the biggest thing for us. Oh, by the way, the house was on a lake, and we're like, boy, this is what we want. And
Wow. Okay.
nice
So
setting.
so the doctor, the aforementioned smart dumb person, the surgeon who picked the house on 1 acre of
Yes.
land, who was
Yes.
being ridiculed the whole
Yes.
week.
Yes.
Everyone loves the house.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me finish.
All right.
We go outside to the biggest amenity that we have, and that is the pool.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
But it's green.
Oh,
And when I
Oh.
say green, it's green. It's not like, oh, it's tinted green. No, it's green. It's pretty gross. And they got the little robot running in there and everything to clean it, but it was no good. And so we tell them like, hey, write the owner. This is pretty bad.
Oh,
this
Jesus.
looks like it's
Bummer.
unswimmable. So we write
What's his
the
name?
owner.
What's his name?
I'm not telling you his name.
Okay, then we'll call him Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange, man, he must have been stressed out because he put all this work into this.
He doesn't get stressed out because we always beat the verbal shit out of him all the time anyway. So he's kind of used to it. Yeah, he's good about it. He knows. We're all good friends.
is it because the pool is under trees and stuff is falling in? It's not keeping up, or it's chemically been not treated
No,
like
it's because they
crap?
don't take care of the pool.
latter.
It's a very simple thing. Either
Well-
you take care of your pool or you don't.
The latter.
It is the latter.
So,
I have a pool, I know, but sometimes it can
Yeah.
be from just neglect, or it can be from you
Yeah,
can't
it's not
keep
being
up
taken
because-
care of.
well,
Yeah.
Dr. Strange writes the owner and says, "Hey, your pool's green. Come figure this out."
Wait, hold on. Did he say it because he's a doctor? Did he say I diagnose?
You know what? I didn't read his text to her or email, whatever it was, but I'm gonna guess that he did not say I diagnose that the pool is green. He's not a doctor of pools. Anyway, the owner was kind enough, and I say kind enough tongue in cheek, but she actually did send over a person to a pool person, and the pool person showed up pretty timely. So we're like, okay, good. They're taking care of this. Pool person was there for, no exaggeration, a couple hours. Came to us and said, yeah, the filter's broken.
boy.
Yeah, it's nothing I can do. You need parts. You got to replace all this, blah, blah, blah. You got a new Johnson rod, whatever the hell she was said. And by the way,
That Johnson rod.
that
because
Johnson
of the
rod
old
will get
supply
you-
We're
chain.
using that Johnson rod, by the way. That's what you said.
you can't. And one of my buddies goes, "Can we swim in it?" She goes, yeah, I would advise against that. I would advise against that. So there goes the biggest amenity that we wanted was
Oh,
gone.
Well, hold on. It's late September though. You
So
still
what?
want to swim?
It
You're
was
in-
90 degrees. It was 89, 90 degrees. during the
Well,
day.
that's unseasonably warm in St. Louis. That's true. I guess it was hot. enough,
Doesn't
but
matter.
oh
The whole
my
point
God.
was the pool is heated. We inquire about this.
Can I-
We
can
want
I-
the
can I-
pool.
David, have you noticed that Josh, when he's done a couple of these Brokeback trips in different houses for Airbnb, there's always some nonsense going on.
It is.
Does this
Yeah,
happen
there
all
is.
the time?
No,
Yeah, well,
here's the
two
Why
funny
do,
for two.
why do you still do this?
Omar, here's the funny thing. This rarely happens. We normally rent a house, all is cool. We never have any issue with the owner, and we just have a great weekend. And maybe there's a thing here or there, which is a nuisance, but whatever.
How many
It's-
people do this?
in this one? 8.
And have there been people that have dropped out or
No,
or
we've
don't
been
come
doing
back?
this. we've been
Everybody
doing this for-
comes.
No,
Everybody comes every time.
Well, not everybody comes every time because certain things happen, circumstances, things like that. But everyone it plans to come every time. For the most part, we have 8 every time.
Are any of the 8 you think on the verge of not
No,
coming back?
No.
They're all in.
never.
Wow.
Every year.
Never. Every year.
Jesus.
No. This
That's
is
nice.
we all live for this. And my other one, we all live for it too. There's 9 of us in my other one, the Airbnb episode, and where there was an issue there. But anyway, so
Are the other people that are in both gangs or just you?
no, they're all completely separate.
You're the link. do you organize these then? Are you like the big?
I am the organizer of the one,
Okay.
and I am a part organizer of this one.
All right, that's
so
important.
One's with college friends. Think about it. The ones with college friends. That's this one.
Yeah.
And the other one's with grade school, high school friends.
All right.
I'll pass on both.
Well, good news is you're not invited.
No, I mean I'm sorry. I mean for my high school and college friends. College friends maybe.
I would
school,
like.
No.
I would love to get together with my college friends and my high school friends.
Although actually, I just haven't talked to them.
It's
I'm
so much fun. It's the best weekend.
I don't talk to anybody from my high school. You got
no families. We just do nothingness. I mean, it is literally we sit around, we play cards, we drink.
You talk to how many people from your high school still?
From my high school, grade school, a lot. But the people who go to that trip are nine of us.
What do you live in Boston? What's that movie? Like
Goodwill
where everyone knows each other?
Cheers?
It's just crazy. No, the movie with Matt Damon. Goodwill Hunting.
Sister of the Traveling Pants?
Yeah. David, do you talk to that many people from high school and grade school still?
I have reconnected with some, and
even that's different. Josh is like.
Well, I think he's an organizer. See, that's the thing is, there's a group that I would think it would be really fun to get together.
I never noticed that about Josh.
I didn't think so either.
Josh just shows up.
But that must be how this is happening because we just talk about it forever. Like, would that be fun? We should do that, and it never.
We've made it a thing. Now, the college one is we've been doing that since I'm going to tell you how long. Since 2000, so 20 some years.
Whose idea was that? Whose idea was that?
We just all said we need to do an annual trip. We just need to do an annual trip.
Everyone says that. Someone's got to organize it.
Yes, my high school one, we have done since we did it in high school. We were doing this annual trip in high school.
Wow.
So that's how long that's been done. It's crazy how long that's been going on. And we don't miss a year. We don't miss.
You had a high school reunion while you were still in high school. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a longer story, but my one buddy, his parents had a hunting cabin in the middle of nowhere's Pennsylvania. I say nowhere, it's nowhere. And we used to go up there.
Are you all Eagles fans?
Once a weekend. Yeah, we're all Eagles fans.
It must be so annoying. Could you imagine, Dave, being the worst Philly sports fans?
Well, if you're all
we're all big Philly sports.
Well, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was in
the high school one, not the college one.
He was talking about fans of like Philadelphia fans.
Yes, yeah, I saw that.
Did you see what he said?
No, Simmons.
The podcast you're talking about.
Yeah, but did you see what he said about Philly fans?
What did he say?
He said he goes, they're a huge pain in the ass. Like they're always looking for something negative. He's like, if I was seen like having a donut, they're like, why aren't you in the gym shooting? Why aren't you in the gym shooting? Anything I did didn't matter.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes, that is true of Philadelphia. I've had this conversation with plenty of friends about how the negativity just goes. We're a 1 or we're a 10. We're nothing in between. We either suck and everyone sucks and the whole team's got to blow up and we got to start over,
right.
Or we're going to the Super Bowl.
You know what? Even talking about this, Erickson, Dave, I just want to jump out the window. I mean, okay, enough about
I didn't want to talk about this. Man. You brought it up. I'm talking about the house.
Probably all wearing your Eagles jerseys and your Flyers jerseys.
You dragged us into this.
Your Sixers jerseys.
I agree. It sounds like a nightmare. 9 Phillies. 9 Philadelphia guys together. You just be like, insulting each other nonstop for 3 days.
Isn't that what you do with your friends? Don't you just cut on each other all the time?
No, Wisconsin people, we give each other compliments. That's all we do. Is we compliment each other. You're greater than last year. You're greater than last year.
Yeah, you look wonderful.
People in Wisconsin actually maintain their pools. That's the other difference.
It's funny because my wife, and this is true of all my buddies, when we come back from the weekend, all our wives ask us to say, "Oh, how are so-and-so's kids? How are so-and-so's kids?" And I go, "I have no idea."
No idea, huh?
She's like, "What are you talking about? You spent a whole weekend with them." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, how are their kids?" I'm like, "I don't know. We don't talk about our kids." "How's his wife?" "I don't know."
Was that about that? So was that made a rule? You guys just don't talk about it?
No, it's just organic. This is what happens.
Nobody cares.
Do you know
no one
any
gives
of
a shit.
But do you know any of your friends' kids' names?
Yes, of course I do, and I've met almost all my friends' kids.
But you literally don't talk about kids at all, huh?
No, not really. Not for the most part. It might come up here or there, but no one's purposely seeking out what your
So
kids.
none,
Hey,
so
what are
none
your
of the
kids
eight,
up to?
so none
No
of the
one
8
cares.
fathers are like annoying about their kids. I
No.
mean, we all know
No.
dads like that. They won't stop talking about their kids, and I'm like, oh my
Yes.
god, shoot me.
That's
in the face.
true. I've seen that too. No,
And
that's
none of
not-
them do
that's
it.
Not the case. No, we don't want. It's not what
Oh,
we're there
interesting.
for. Not what we're there for. We're there to catch up. We're there to reminisce. That's it.
Reminisce.
Anyway,
Are
reminisce.
you playing Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen? Like, what are we
No, we're
talking
playing-
about here?
We're playing Reminisce by Mary J. Blige.
Well, are you reminiscing
Or-
about your
or
high school, grade
reminiscing
school?
by- Pete Rock and CL Smooth. What?
Are you reminiscing about your grade school, high school years, or reminiscing about past
College.
Get
College.
together?
We're reminiscing about college and
Just-
and
Back
how
to the
many?
same old
How much
stories.
reminiscing can you do? I mean, you do
Oh,
it every
that's my
year.
question.
a lot of reminiscing. But we're also reminiscing about these weekends in the past.
Okay, that was my
I
question.
mean, because we got a lot of. See, we're making memories.
Have you ever gotten arrested?
No, never gotten arrested.
Have you ever gotten in trouble? Like, I don't know, maybe you had. Well,
No.
yeah, nothing.
No.
Nothing illicit. Interesting.
No, there's never been. We always find secluded,
go
isolated
hunting?
homes.
What's the manliest
don't
thing
go
you guys do
hunting.
besides wrestle?
The manliest thing we do is we sit at a fire and we burn stuff and drink. That's it.
Firecrackers?
Firecrackers.
No firecrackers.
No fireworks?
We do
Nothing?
burn a
Can
ton
Dave-
of shit. We burn a lot of shit.
Can Dave and I observe from a distance?
No, because I don't like your attitude.
It's like we're
What I want to do,
sociologists.
I want to hire someone and put a Dallas Cowboys jersey on them and have them run through the
Yeah,
campfire and
Yeah.
then watch them all like, let's get them. And
Oh,
that would be
funny.
fun. I would.
that
love
would be fun.
Maybe we should hire
might wanna
someone
put-
to do that at our weekend.
Omar, would you put that jersey on? I'd like to see Omar
Anyway.
do that.
But in my college one, we're from all over, so we actually do have a guy from Texas, and he's a Dallas fan.
All right, so you'll talk about
We're from all
different
over
teams.
though, so that's different. It's a different group of people.
All right.
So anyway, so the pool now is dead. We can't swim in this pool, and we're all completely bummed because obviously that's the main attraction.
What about the lake? Can you swim in the lake?
We can, but I'm not going in a lake. Who the hell wants
No?
to? Go? No.
Well,
it's
it's
gross.
water.
It's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
It's gross. The bottom's gross. Lakes are gross. There's shit.
Was
in
it
the
a
lake.
big lake? If it
Are
some
there
of the big
boats in the
lakes,
lake?
It was pretty big, and we saw a friggin' a snake in there too, swimming around. I'm like, there's no,
yeah, they're critters. Yeah, that's the problem.
Critters? Is that what you call them? What is this?
No.
Ozarks?
no chance.
Yes, it
It's
is Ozarks
Missouri.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. It's Missouri.
And we call them critters.
So
Wait,
anyway,
so wait.
Oh
Are
my
people?
God.
Are there boats in this lake?
no, there's no boats in the lake.
So no one's
Well,
water
yeah, there are.
skiing
Well,
or
there-
jet
there's
skiing.
Not, there's not motorboats.
No
They're-
motorboats. It's
they're-
trolling
yeah.
motors only.
Correct. That's what's in the lake. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
kayaks, canoes, paddleboard, shit like that.
And you guys didn't have any of that stuff.
We did. It's part of the house, but we didn't use it.
Okay.
That's not true. My one buddy used a kayak because we gave my other buddy a lot of money to swim across the lake and back if he made it. And so we put him out in the kayak just in case he
Did
drowned.
you do it?
Yeah, he actually did, which is shocking because he's so out of shape. It's
Was it
ridiculous.
close? Was he
This is
like?
gonna
Was
be
he?
easy money. And he screwed us all. We were gonna make a video of it. I videotaped the whole thing. I'm like, this is gonna be great. We're gonna have to pull him out. He's gonna be spitting up water, lake water. Now he did it. Couldn't believe it. We all
Was it?
loved
Did he do it easily, or was it like close?
He actually so it seemed like, and he even said this too, like the first like half way to the other side of the lake, he thought he was done. He thought he was done, and it seemed like he was. He was like stopping
That's
at
awesome.
certain points. We're
That
like,
I
"Oh my
love."
God, there he goes. He's gonna go down. I didn't even think he'd get in the lake because he's a big talker. It's like, I'll swim across this lake and back. Like, you're
I'll
never
do it
gonna
right
swim
now.
across This lake. It's
Yeah.
like a mile long.
So he
Did it.
swam or he canoed?
Friggin' did it. Canoed. We're not paying anyone to canoe across the lake. He swam.
He swam. Wow.
He did it. I'll show you a video. Anyway, let me
That's
get back to this friggin' story.
All right, the pool.
We're running out of time. Unbelievable. That's the COVID cough that I can't get rid of. Anyway, then to make matters worse, the Wi-Fi sucks. It's just awful because we wanted to watch the Thursday night football game. You got to watch it on Amazon Prime now because that's who owns the Thursday game. It just kept buffering. It's terrible. Anyway, so that's that. Then where there's a deck where the grill is, and my buddy's out there. He gets a chair, goes out to the deck. His chair falls through one of the planks in the deck, right through. We're like, what the hell is this? There's a rug. There's a rug on the deck. We pick it up.
Covered.
Rotted planks.
Oh my
Planks
gosh.
and taped. Some of them were taped with duct tape, like as a Band-Aid to put on these planks. So Dr. Strange were like, hey, write this owner again. Tell him we almost died on their stupid deck. So he writes back and says, hey, look, in addition to the pool, now your deck is rotted, and
this sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And my buddy fell through. His chair fell through the plank on the deck, and we're not real happy with that. You know what the owner writes back? Doesn't write back, hey, sorry about that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't, blah blah blah. I didn't realize, or none of that. Writes back. This is as plainly as this. Oh, we're planning to replace that deck in the spring anyway.
That's all better.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? So you knew this deck is rotted and not suitable for people on it. Didn't care. Didn't matter. It was unbelievable. So that was basically my weekend. I flew. Oh, let me add this because this is part of my topic. Anyway, I flew back, of course, in a crowded plane, and then with COVID, without realizing. When I got back, my wife's like, "You really should test." I'm like, "You know what? I think you're right. I should because this doesn't seem to be going away." Even though I was feeling better, but I was taking Dayquil, so I think that might have been masking it. And so I took the test, and of course, sure enough, COVID positive.
How many guys got sick?
So one tested positive. His wife then tested positive, which I felt awful about. And then a couple of the other guys felt sick, but said they tested negative. But I don't know if I believe it or not. So we'll see. But we also did this. So with my buddy Dr. Strange, we always have a little trivia contest with him because we just feel he's got no common sense, and we'd like to test his knowledge of common things. So we suckered him into doing a Jeopardy game with another buddy of mine. And then we bet on it. We bet who's going to win and blah blah blah. First of all, these two idiots didn't know shit, which was
neither one
completely devalued our diplomas. I mean, it was just completely. It was.
What were the questions?
Oh, I don't even want to say because it's so embarrassing. What were the three branches of government? What are the three branches of government?
What?
I mean, are you kidding me?
Even I know that.
You guys have a nice diploma there, and it was amazing. And the guy, Dr. Strange, won. He won. But the other guy was just horrific. I mean, it was really embarrassing, very embarrassing. But here's what I wanted to ask you. So, this is kind of the question as convoluted here, but he's probably one of my friends who I would not want to go to for professional services. Do you know what I mean? Do you have a friend that that you're like, they're good at what they do, they're successful. This guy gets accolades. He's written up. He's obviously very good. He keeps getting promoted, and he's chief of whatever medicine or whatever the hell it is. Transplant, surgery, whatever. And but if I needed surgery of that ilk, I would never let him touch me. No way. Do you have friends like that where their professional lives you would never go to them for what they do just because you know them growing up?
I think the only thing I can think of is a friend who's a doctor, and one good friend that I grew up with. Both of us were idiots growing up. I mean, we got arrested in college, and we just did a bunch of dumb stuff. And he went on to be a doctor. I went on to do investing, and we do come back. And I think I would let him. He's a podiatrist. He does feet. And I tell you, everyone in my hometown, there must be something in the water because everyone has gone to him and had problems with their feet. I don't know anyone in St. Louis that has any feet problems, but everyone in my hometown has had to go and have foot surgery, and they all go to my friend.
They all need surgery? They all have foot surgery?
They're all wheelchairs today.
No, he's a very successful. He's the top podiatrist in the area. And he looks at me he doesn't know how I end up making anything of myself either. So, but I think I would trust him, even though I
so
remember when I think even though I know what an idiot he was, he knew what an idiot I was. I think I would, but
wow,
it's all right. It would be but it's my foot. I think I would allow someone to do surgery on my foot, who I maybe thought was an idiot growing up, but maybe not a heart surgeon. I might be a little that's too close to home because you don't appreciate people from your hometown, right? You're never appreciating your hometown. There's maybe a little bit of that.
Shouldn't you trust those people more I mean, that's how I look at it. Like I have a friend of mine who's a dentist, and he put a cap on for me. He did an awesome job, and I trusted him implicitly.
Yeah.
But this guy, I don't know. I don't think I could let him cut me open, knowing what.
Does he listen to the podcast?
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But he knows this. I've said this to his face.
That's the only thing I could think of. I don't think if I had a friend who was a lawyer,
tough one.
I would probably trust a friend in that case. I think
There's a lot of people that I don't like who
No.
are
I'm talking about
optically
friends
successful.
Friends that you know,
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
people you like.
Yeah.
That you know growing up, and because of what you know growing up, you would not go to them for what they do professionally? That's the question.
That's a great question. I have to. That's one to prepare for. But yeah, I think my friend is the closest thing, and I think I would.
And
I
you
think
would?
I would trust him. Yep,
All
because
right.
I think he would go the extra mile for me, certainly. And what I really want is him to prescribe meds for me, like. But he's very on the up and up for that. So actually, I'm just kidding. No, I don't think I have a friend like that. And Omar, you don't have a friend like that?
All right.
No,
Omar?
I don't. No, I don't either. I don't. It's a because I don't either. I think because most people who are my friends, if not all of them, I trust their judgment and their competency, even if they're. Yeah. I listen. I think each of us, we're all wrecks, right? Everybody, not just us, not just the three of us, and we all have facades, right? And when you get to know your friends, you get to know them, and you see their eccentricities in their crazy parts. But
well, that's the thing. You don't see your doctor
exactly.
Out, you know,
right.
You're saying it makes it more difficult for you because you see the cracks.
Right.
Does this guy do coke?
No.
Oh
No.
I don't know.
No.
I'm just throwing that out there.
No. He's just a moron. That's the whole point. But he's incredibly good at what he does. That's what's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I think Omar's point.
If your doctor, let's say you needed heart surgery, and your doctor's like, awesome, just great reviews, everything, and great record, but he didn't know the 3 branches of government.
I wouldn't care about that.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't care about that.
All right.
He's a specialist.
I think Omar's right. The cracks. The doctor that you do trust also has cracks, but the friend will go the extra mile. The other person who you don't know the cracks.
To him. Yeah,
that's right.
All right.
No.
All right.
But maybe
Fair
they get
enough.
a shaky hand. Maybe they get a shaky
hand. Apologize to Dr. Strange.
I will never apologize to him. I respect him deeply, but he just doesn't know things that he should know. Let's put it that way. Although he won the Jeopardy tournament, which was the craziest thing.
Is he the one who swam in the water?
No, that's my other friend. We call the idiot.
What? There seems to be a theme here.
Is this a play on the Dostoevsky novel, or is he just an idiot?
No, it's not like calling a bald guy curly. He's an idiot. So we call him the idiot.
I thought you were going to say the Steve Martin movie. That's how smart you are, Omar.
That's the jerk.
Yes, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different.
All right. Well, I'm glad you made it.
Good weekend, even though I got COVID.
What did you think about the whole complex? Because I have a place there.
The complex is great. It's really nice.
Did you golf?
No, we don't do anything. But I saw the golf course. It was really nice. The only problem is you have to throw your trash out at that one area, which is near the front, which is a big pain in the ass. We had to drive like 10 minutes to dump our trash.
Yeah. Well, normally people go and they collect their trash. When they leave, they throw it out near the gate. That's how that works.
The problem is we generate so much trash.
Yeah, I suppose
that can't fit our bags in there. So we have to take a trip first with all that trash, dump it, and then come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, but you're feeling better, right? COVID's receding for you?
Feeling better, receding, tested negative. So I'm on the right path. Yep.
Good. And who knows how many people you've hurt, but glad you're feeling better.
Several.
Yep. All right, Omar. Do you got your topic ready to go?
Yeah, I do have
always
my topic.
Always the pause.
Because I'm thinking about which one I'm going to pick. Like, you
got to know.
You know, a smorgasbord.
Oh, jeez.
So this happened a while ago, but I just think it was such an interesting topic when I was thinking about it the other day. Have you guys ever met somebody and
yes we have.
Like a friend of yours, let's say his name is Sam, okay? And then let's say, there's another person whose name is like Richard, and Richard you just don't like for whatever reason. It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Okay.
But neither Richard nor Sam, you've met a lot, but you're familiar enough with each of them. You know why you like Sam, why you don't like Richard, whatever. Point is, I was at this thing and I thought I saw Sam. I was all excited to see Sam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm super engaged, super excited. And we're talking and I realized something seems off. He's talking about this and that. These really obnoxious topics and it's irritating. What's up with Sam? And I realized, oh my God, it's Richard. So I got them mixed up.
You mixed them up?
Oh, you mixed them up. Okay,
Now-
so you don't know them well, obviously.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But
all right,
but
that's
the
better.
part that was fascinating is that I was completely open to being kind to who was Richard, who I don't like, right?
Right.
But it became very clear to me, like minutes into the conversation, why I do not really vibe with this guy Richard, because it was Richard the whole time, and so
Yes.
I was like, wow, this is crazy. Because sometimes I think when you give people a second chance, they're actually kind of amazing. Sometimes, right? Like some people have really great movie trailers. Like I have a great movie trailer, right? But then you go to the movie, it's a disaster.
Big flop.
Right? Big flop. You like, do I get out of the seat? I throw out here. I have popcorn. But you watch the whole movie sometimes. I guess that's a route that both of you have taken so far, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
this
movie doesn't end.
have you ever had something like that happen to you before? I don't know what the term for that is. Like,
What?
making any sense? Is it completely?
Did you at any time say, "Man, I'm sure glad it wasn't Richard that's here," and I really
you say
hate
that to
Richard?
Richard?
And
Yeah, no. It just validated my feelings about Richard the whole time.
Yeah, because
Because-
it's Richard.
But you guys haven't had like some through forced interactions or persistence by the other person. Sometimes you eventually do like a person that you did not like initially.
Did you drop acid about an hour ago?
What?
This
Is
is
this nonsensical?
the craziest topic.
no. All right. Can
What
I
the hell you're
re-summarize it?
talking about?
Can I re-summarize
Please.
it? So Omar
Yeah,
is saying,
please,
have you
help
ever
me
had
out.
someone that you didn't like, but this is what's hard to imagine though, is he
you know
almost
I
like
mixed
re-met
them
that
up.
person.
So I
Yeah,
was
so he-
open to this person, Richard.
He gave like they had a second
And
chance.
Richard, if he was, maybe you could have lied. We didn't because he was Richard again, right? So
Here's why it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Let's say you hadn't mistaken him for Sam at all.
mhm.
What would you have done? Not talk to
I
him?
would have had my cortisol would have went off. My fight or flight. I would want to not talk to him. I want to end the conversation within 5 seconds, probably,
Yeah.
or 10 seconds.
But the moral of your story is not give people a second chance. 'Cause
No.
they might surprise you.
No, well, sometimes they can. My point is sometimes
But
they
didn't
can. Has it
happen
ever
this time.
happened? But has it ever happened? It's happened with me before. It has.
But not
Now-
in this story.
now- not in this story, but has ever happened with you guys.
It's happening right now, except the reverse.
But have you given someone a second chance at they?
Yes.
But how much time has passed? I mean, did they have time to grow? That's like if I've met someone years later and
Your
like they've
instincts
gone
about
through.
people are generally good, right? You guys think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're wrong, and I guess that's my question. Like Richard proved me right. Poor Richard.
Right. Listen, I think there have been people I've met in the past. Okay, you know what? One pops into my head. I'll give you a great example. There was somebody who I'm not going to say his name, but turned me off like the first couple times I met him. I'm like, this guy's a bit of an ass and blah blah. And then I was in social situations with him several times after that, and he kind of grew on me. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this guy. I don't think I understood him right the first couple times. And so that did happen to me with this one individual
Huh.
that I can think of. Yeah.
I think for me, like I my first instinct is to judge like they're a bad person too quickly. Like I think I give it a few chances early on, but then once they trip that line, I don't think I can't remember going back or being like pleasantly surprised that they were better. I feel like because I give them so much rope at first. If they've gone that far, I think that I'm pretty consistent that this is someone I don't like, and I can't think of someone that I sort of circle back around. I can think of
What
people
about the
right
reverse,
now.
Dave? Dave, what about the reverse? Someone that you thought you liked, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to be around this person. They're great company, and then it was like an awful experience. Like, oh, that was no good. I had that happen once.
Once,
So
just once.
Quick
Yeah.
story.
Let's hear it.
In backpacking through Europe after college, in Greece, me and my buddy, there are these two guys from Canada. We're playing volleyball in this tournament, this day tournament. We meet these guys. They get put on our team. Great guys. Went out drinking with them. Had a great time. You know, we went to a couple bars, whatever. We're like, boy, these guys are cool. And we like hung with them for like 2-3 days, and then went our separate ways, exchanged information. And then they said, we're gonna come visit you. They were from Vancouver. They're like, we're gonna come visit you guys in Philly. We're like, oh, okay. And this is with this guy I roomed with when out of college, and in an apartment. And they came and visited us, and we were like, these guys are awful. We need to get them the hell out of here. It was like one day we're like, these guys are a friggin' train wreck, and they were so annoying. It's because it was so different being in like, you know, in like a nice location where you're on vacation and it's just carefree, versus when they're in your place, in your home, and they're just awful people.
Did they have a good time?
Yeah, but they could tell we're like we were, their shenanigans weren't flying there. I mean, they were just assholes.
I mean, this is just amazing to me. Like you and grown men. Like it's like you just anywhere you
I knew
can
that was going to come off wrong. I knew that was going to come off weird.
Just like,
yeah, that was going to come off weird.
I mean, are you thinking the same thing, Dave?
I knew. As I was saying it, I thought, boy, they're going to interpret this wrong.
It's just crazy.
They were fun. They were fun to drink with, and we had a good time partying. And then when they came there, we like had jobs, and they wrecked our place, and there was like I remember they bottle caps, and I went to put on the garbage disposal, and there's bottle caps in there. I'm like, what the hell is this? These two jackasses were day drinking and putting the bottle caps in our disposal, and like, I gotta get these guys out of here. These guys are not fun.
Man,
so
I just can't think of it. I can't think of an example of on any side. This is the benefit of not preparing our topics. How many times do you go to the point that you don't give people second chances anymore? Like I think I would go. I think I'm a person that would go to second, third, fourth chances quite a bit. But man, I'm telling you, I think the people that pop in my head that I don't like, they've been very consistently awful and haven't come around. Because
they've been like Richard.
If they're like Richard, well, in our industry, you have some big egos, right? And I feel like very rarely has a big ego kind of become humble on their own or through life experience. I just haven't. But
the difference is, though, with work stuff, you have no choice sometimes but to be in the same social setting with them.
Correct.
And so you automatically have to interact and give them second, third, fourth chances.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like there's one guy in particular I can remember. I can't stand this guy, and every time I saw him, it was like, oh my god, I would sink. Like, this guy sucks. I just don't want to have to deal with him at all. And he's terrible, and he never changed.
Isn't what I guess think this is what like being an adult is. Like, you have to just tolerate these situations. You're having a job, I think.
You gotta you
every
have to
social
work,
yeah.
You gotta do things sometimes you don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's
true.
I was thinking of the one example that came to my head. There was an older guy who was involved, like my kid's school, and he was like a curmudgeon. He was just a mean guy. He'd come up and say just very direct, mean things. And people would always say, like, well, you got to give him a little bit of a break. That's just the way he is. I always felt like, no, that's not an excuse. Like, you just said, you don't mind him being mean. It's because he's mean by nature. I think, no, that's not. People said that about this guy.
Naughty by nature, I'm completely okay with.
They're great. They're great. That is a big pet peeve when someone says, like, that's who I am, or that's just me. That's just how I'm built. No, it's not. That doesn't give you a carte blanche to behave that way.
Bob being Bob. Yeah, that's not a
nonsense.
Right. What was that movie called? Dinner with the Schmucks.
We
should do one of those dinners. Is that, remember, we each invite one person who's like our Richard.
One schmuck. No, we don't.
Yeah,
we're talking. Those were schmucks. You're talking about people we hate.
Or maybe hate's a strong word, but people who get
people who
trigger fight or flight for us.
Ooh, why would we do that?
I don't know. It's true.
Why would you
That's
purposely
true.
do that?
You know, hold on. We wouldn't show up to
That's
the
the
dinner.
worst idea ever.
We wouldn't show up to the dinner. We would
I
just
don't know.
observe them all interact with each other.
Why don't we all have them stab us with a fork in the neck as well?
Wouldn't you want to
Makes no
put people in their
sense.
place, though? There are a couple I wouldn't mind bringing to a dinner with the intention of knocking them down a few pegs. I could come up with a list of 4 or 5 people
That sounds
right
like
off the
fun.
top of my head.
Everyone wants to do
uh,
that. That's,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a little fantasy.
But
of it.
I'm kind of curious how you thought somebody was someone else too. I think that's kind of a
Yeah, that's
fascinating.
weird.
You-
Do they
it's
look
Sam and
alike?
Richard. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Well, I'll say this.
Are they identical twins?
Well, they were both Asian,
Oh.
and they had both of them have very little hair.
Okay, well,
So you could have said they had similar characteristics. That would have been a better way to say it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Look, people think I'm other Indian people all the time. It's just it's the reality. I'm okay with it. It's fine.
yeah, you only mention the celebrities though when you say that happens.
It's-
That's
yeah,
famous
the
people.
guy who works at the local 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, well, maybe that is I'm getting an idea here. We're combining Josh's ability to plan and Omar's need to get someone together to knock him down a few pegs. I think we can make this happen and talk about it on the podcast.
Should we have a weekend where I rent a house and we invite all these people to the house?
We'll get the one with the bad pool.
Green pool.
Yeah,
We'll
green
push
pool.
Richard into the pool.
Wait, hold on. What was wrong with the previous house they did something at? Like, what was wrong with that house? Remember?
It was a train wreck. The
Airbnb?
the couches had no they had no springs in them. It was the whole thing was a train wreck. The
Yeah.
showers smelled funny. The house
So
was
are
bad.
you? Hold on. So because of this volatility you've had recently, why don't you have one person always choose the house?
We do. We have the same people. I always choose
I
the house
thought
on the one.
you rotated, David. Did you think
No,
that?
here's the deal. We want to mix it up. We want to get different houses each time. It's not. We could get the same house if we like the house, but you mix it up. You want to try something? You try a different house.
I would do that.
Better.
Do different locations, different houses.
Yeah,
I'd want to do
different
it. But yeah,
locations.
You
that's
should do it in
different
you should do it in a haunted house.
Listen, our track record. Haunted house. The track record's pretty good. We've had really only these two. Now they've come very recently, but two bad
The
houses in a
track
matter
record
of
doesn't
40
seem too
some
good to
years.
Dave and I.
the podcast
Yeah,
is the curse.
The
Yeah.
podcast track record sucks.
The FTS
Yeah,
I don't know if
curse.
there's
Yeah.
a correlation here.
Meanwhile, by the way, just to get this on the record, the hotel that you booked for the two of us to stay here in New York, my first one, that was also that. If that had a pool, it would have been green. That was
Green
a
pool.
bad
Green pool
hotel.
hotel.
Why- I'm not having you book any more hotels.
I might have
Goodness
gotten COVID just for making the reservation.
sake. It was
That's
awful.
how
Oh
bad
my
that
gosh.
hotel was. Sorry. It was a good
All right.
location. It was a good location. And I was
Are you ready?
thinking of our costs, Dave. Our costs.
Okay, well that's good. Let's get that on record too. All right, are you ready for my topic?
Please.
All right, so this happened to me this week. I think it's a pretty easy one to understand, and I think you guys will do it differently than the way I did. So one of the things I did in New York was I went to a conference. It was a 2-day conference of a fund that we work with, and they were presenting for 2 days what they're invested in and all kinds of things. Josh, you were supposed to meet me there, and we were
Supposed
gonna.
to go. Yeah.
You knew the founders. You probably know other
Yes.
people in the room. As I walked in Monday morning, I knew no one. I knew the founders from a Zoom call, right? I knew that, but everyone else, the entire room, there might have been 250 people there or so, didn't know a soul. Okay, so I check in, I get my ID, and I go sit down and I go through the presentation and hear all that, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. But then we get to an hour and a half break for lunch. And now I'm not a wallflower person.
No.
I can strike conversations. I do like meeting new people. But it's interesting. You get a crowd of, let's call it 250 people I don't know. I'd become very shy. I thought I've well past that, and I would be true when I was in my 20s, because I'd feel like if I was in these situations, I'd always feel like I'm the youngest person here. And in my 30s, I'd feel like I'm still the youngest person here. I'm no longer. I might have been the oldest person in this.
And that one, yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
that one, maybe.
But I found myself, don't really know anybody here. And the way they did lunch is it wasn't you sat at a table. You sort of had food that you could kind of stand and eat, and then you were supposed to mingle.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll just go for a walk. And so I went for a walk down the street and found a restaurant, ate by myself. and did my emails, which I thought was. Then I came back and listened to the rest of it. Go to the next day, and I do this. Get through the morning, and it's lunchtime again. Wouldn't you know, another hour and a half. And I thought I shouldn't do this again. And I found myself walking right out of that room. And I did. I went right to lunch by myself, just because for some
Same
reason.
place?
Same place, same meal.
Oh, even worse. Even worse.
So now you guys put yourselves in that situation. So you're in a room, lots of people. I mean, people are not cliquey. I mean, I don't think anyone knows each other. There's probably a lot of individuals there that are by themselves. How do you handle that situation?
I mean, I can't believe you've been asking this question.
What I want to know specifically.
I get food and I talk to people.
You just you'll mosey on up to somebody and how you doing?
And that's what you're supposed to do.
He's a mucker upper. That's what Josh does.
You're supposed to do that at these events. Part of the great thing about these events is the networking.
I know.
And they're all invested in the same thing you are, so you want to get to know them.
I need a little bit of a fire starter. Like I need a little bit of an intro.
The fire starter is, who do you work with? And how long have you been an investor?
So you have no problem whatsoever. You never
Zero.
shy.
I think that yeah, of course not. I think I'm almost obligated to do that.
Omar, you're more complex. Do you have any situations that you would do that in?
Yeah, I mean, this happens to me at these things a lot.
Omar's whole livelihood is meeting people.
No, but the interesting part, I think, is that I'm perpetually uncomfortable at these things. Always.
Oh, at these things. Okay.
But that's what butters your bread, Omar.
If I see somebody that I know, I'm like, oh my God. And then I might, but talking to somebody new, unless I can make a comment about something they're eating or what they're wearing or something, or maybe their hair, I got no ends. I don't know what to say to people.
What are you talking about? You're all in the same industry.
Yeah.
I think
Josh, you are very I've seen Josh talk to people of all ilks in terms of being famous, and just like they're somebody he's talking to on the bus.
Because they're people.
I mean, you are fearless.
Yeah, I don't think that's as common as you think. I mean, I'm not shy person. I would never call myself shy.
No,
but
you're not.
It was that situation. If I had a little bit of a crutch or just a little bit of something to then I'd be off and running. But I found I had no launching.
What's the term for that? Is someone like Josh? I don't know anyone actually who's as fearless as you are or comfortable. You're talking to anybody like that. Anybody.
But even if you planted yourself at one of those standing tables with your sandwich or whatever they served,
right?
Someone would eventually come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm so and so. I'm with. Who are you with?"
I suppose that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done.
You've been to enough of these things.
But there's always then either I'm with somebody or I know somebody in the room. You kind of start.
I have a tip for you. Okay, so my friend Yaniv, who I think you guys actually know,
we do. We know
he when he goes out, he wears these ridiculous T-shirts. Okay, and it will be like a unicorn on a skateboard, or like a goldfish like smoking a cigar. These preposterous things. And one time I asked him, I go, why do you wear these clothes? Like what is it? And he's like, he goes, when I'm out, it's something to talk about. And that way I get to talk to people, because sometimes I'm not great talking to people, and it sort of first forces a conversation. People have something to talk about. I'm like, that is brilliant. It's brilliant. So David, we should get you some T-shirts like that for the next event you go to.
This is the worst advice I've ever heard.
Maybe his T-shirt says, "I'm older than I look." Right?
Yeah. Ask me about my age.
Yeah.
This might be the worst advice I ever heard.
Yeah, there's some decorum that I would have to express as I represent
Listen,
my industry.
Look, talking to new people is not easy.
Maybe he wears a giant hat or something, or he has like
that.
something.
He can't. He just told you he doesn't want to start. You want him to wear a giant foam hat or a unicorn on a skateboard T-shirt?
Foam finger.
He's not going to do that.
Are you crazy? But David,
it's different. If I was on an airplane and there's a person next to me, I would talk to them, because it would be sort of I would not that I want to talk to people on planes, but or if I
That's
sat
even
at a
harder.
table.
I
don't find.
Can I tell you something? Sometimes you meet people who are stoic, and I'm really happy that they are because there's not much there. You
Yeah.
know, like you took a little bit, but there's a lot there with you. You're very clever. You're
I can't come up.
interesting.
Well, I've
You're
lived in different
insightful.
places. If
Yes.
it's sports, like I have lots of things to draw on. There's no question. But
Yes.
so it's not. That's what I'm saying. I need the door to open up a little bit.
Everybody in that room had a common
Unicorn on a
interest.
skateboard.
That's your topic of conversation.
I think when it was a big room and I knew no one, not a single person, everything had to start from scratch. I found myself like, but I'm going to network. I have a conference this week, and I'm going to have two of my colleagues with me, and I'll network all day long. Like, so it's not like I want to be alone, and I don't like this. I don't like small talk. I would say none of that. But and that's why I want to bring it up, which is I was surprised at myself. I'm like, I am now 53 years old, and I found myself like, I don't know anybody here. I'm on my way.
Dave,
up.
I've seen you in action. You can carry a conversation with anybody.
I can.
You
that's
know what?
why
The age thing is a real thing.
This is shocking to me. This is shocking.
It is a thing, though, Dave. I'm kind of with you a little bit too, but
no, I can see.
You know, but I will say, Dave, those are the moments that where you are able to show why you're so incredible at what you do, because you actually are able to overcome that. You will be, because that's why you're Dave Erickson.
But here's the deal.
Sorry.
Yeah, amazing.
Well,
I can see if you had like been socializing the entire time and you do a lot of talking, and because those things are exhausting, by the way. They're just they're long days, they're exhausting, and there's a lot of information flow, and there's a lot of conversations, whatever. Where at lunch you just went, you know what? I just want some time to myself.
Right.
And you walked out. But you didn't walk out for that reason.
I did not. No, I'm being totally honest with you. And I think I think probably more people are like me than not. Honestly, it's it wasn't a hostile situation, but it wasn't like it wasn't easy. And whatever insecurities I had.
If it was like if you were like single and you were at a bar, that's incredibly difficult to go up to someone and start a conversation.
Right.
Everyone in that room wants to talk to somebody.
Yes.
And everyone in that room doesn't know most people in that room.
Yes.
So
they all have something in common.
And they all have something in common, which is the reason why they're there. And they all just heard a half a day of information that they could possibly talk about and discuss.
Information / spin.
It could not be put out on a silver platter anymore.
No, I know. That's why it's a topic. So I wanted to see if you have any of that. So clearly you guys don't. And
no, I do not.
I'm unusual that way, but that happened. So it's something I got to grow from. Happened.
Did you at least have a good lunch? Was it a good lunch?
I had an excellent lunch. It was it was exactly what I wanted. I got a bunch of emails done, so it wasn't like it was unproductive.
Okay.
And did connect like on smaller breaks. I wasn't completely alone, but it was that longer time of like, I guess, if it's in there, it's hard to break, right? I guess it's an insecurity. I think for me, part of it is like when I broke into the industry that we have, I got in early, and this idea of like always being the kid in the room is like still sort of
that's interesting.
I think there's a little bit of that, but I'm clearly not the kid, anymore.
No, that's crazy. Because you have a pretty prominent role, and it's not like you're in that room and like lesser than anyone there. Not by any stretch.
It's a weird thing. So
that's crazy. Okay, so it's not like you feel like I don't belong in this room. Like these people are all smarter than me, or these people. That's not it at all, right?
No, I guess if you ask me that, no, it's not that. It's I'm gonna say something dumb or it's just something. It was just it's an uncomfortable feeling that I just was like I just would rather. But
you're also very approachable, I think too.
Yes.
I would be. If someone came to me, I'd be ready to talk.
Ready to talk. Right.
Right. But I got to fight through that. Got to fight.
You do. That's crazy. I've never heard that before. Because everything I've ever been with you, I guess, you're
it helps
talking to people.
Of course, because I am with it. It's that extra boost of like especially if I'm with one of you guys, like I mean, Josh, I feel like you'll come out and say, "Hey, I'm Josh. Do you watch 400 Pound Sisters?" Like, and then I'll be like, whatever they say, I'll
It's 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Is it 1,000? Sorry.
400-Pound Sisters is a very boring show.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There's nothing
That's more
intriguing
common.
about 400-Pound Sisters. 1,000-Pound, that's a different story.
I don't have that same ability. Anyway,
All
well,
right.
I was vulnerable to you guys here. Hopefully, my employer's not listening, thinking that I'm no longer worthy of the job I have. Anyway, so all right, thank you. We're getting toward the end here, but Omar, do you have our This Week in Norway?
Yes. This is a good one.
All right, let's hear it.
Oh.
Couple find a Viking sword in a field in Ovras in Vestnes.
A Viking what?
Couple,
a sword?
A sword. Kyle and Heidi Grodingsotter.
Oh, yeah, the Grodingsotters. Yeah, they're good people.
They found metal parts in the potato fields after their father-in-law finished plowing the land. This is real. And they put these pieces of metal into a towel. 2 years later, they realized they sent it to some local place, and it's a double-edged sword from the 8th century, a Viking sword. So this is a very rare
from
find.
the 8th century. That's amazing.
Yeah, this is
why did it take them 2 years?
These Viking swords actually exist.
Why did it take them 2 years? They kept it in a towel for 2 years.
Yeah.
You think they went like, I'll take it tomorrow?
Because they were covered in
They did that
rust.
for like 2 years.
It was not well preserved, but it's a Viking sword.
We'll take it
all
tomorrow.
The same. It's not a common occurrence, but this stuff happens in Norway. This
So
doesn't
what's it
happen
worth?
in Philly.
What's it worth? What's it worth? No, we have double-edged swords in Philly.
Everything's a double-edged sword in Philly.
They're not that old.
Well, there's more artifacts that are being discovered. Several Norwegian kings fought for power in this territory. Yeah, so that means there are going to be graves here too, apparently. So it's crazy how that actually exists. Like Viking swords. That's kind of neat.
How do they know it's a Viking sword?
They send it to the
there's
to the Viking
historians.
heroes.
There's Viking historian?
Experts. There's Viking.
It's not just a regular Norwegian sword.
No,
how do you know they were Viking? What if it was just a farmer that had a sword?
It probably was made a certain way, with certain markings on it or certain indications that gave it away that it was Viking. Maybe it was Valerian steel.
Was it purple and yellow?
It was broken. It was not Valerian steel.
Purple and yellow, and it was signed by Kirk Cousins. That's how they knew it was a Viking sword.
Kirk Cousins, come on. No,
he doesn't have a sword.
Adrian Peterson.
That guy's toothless.
Yeah. No, Adrian Peterson used a switch, not a sword.
Yeah.
It's Adrian Peterson's sword. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
His son got a line, took him to a field.
That's right.
And spanked with the sword.
Listen, there's people. Funny. Here's what's amazing to me. There's experts on like everything. Everything. There's always some guy out there, some gal or guy out there that dedicated their whole like existence and educational years to like studying like one narrow aspect of something. There's like some expert on the dung beetle. There's like some dude somewhere who knows everything about the dung beetle and spent his whole life studying the dung beetle and its habits and whatever. Isn't that amazing that some people?
Well, you don't think there's some doctor so and so that said, "Is this a Viking sword?" And he looks at it and goes, "Yes, it is." But he doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know. He's the expert.
They do know.
Yeah, they know.
You think they know?
Can we talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room right now, Dave? I mean, what is going on with your Patrick Bateman closet, Josh? Like, look at the organization behind you. That is insane.
Yeah, I'm very organized.
I mean, is this you? Do you have OCD?
We've been through this. I'm very.
Have you worn all those hats?
Yeah, I wear all those hats.
All right, so hold on. So what we're describing to you is there are shelves behind Josh, and there are at least 20 hats. But this is what I'm actually taken back by too, is that when you're done wearing a hat, you place it on the shelf, and so it's lined up correctly.
Is there an order?
Yes. Oh yeah, they all have spots. It's
are your favorites?
How often I wear them.
All right, how does it work? Show us.
So this row right here is obviously the 4 Philadelphia sports. I got my Sixers hat, my Phillies hat, my Flyers hat, and I'm wearing my Eagles hat, so that's why that spot's empty.
All right.
Then above it are my college hats, and then above that are some more Phillies and Eagles and other hats. And then above that
Is that what you do on weekends?
No,
I wonder to myself sometimes, what do you do on weekends?
It's like that all the time. But I wear these 2 rows more than I wear these rows up here.
But to your left, there's all those dress shoes. I never see you wear dress shoes.
Well, because no one wears dress shoes anymore. I wear them on occasion.
Why do you have more than 3 pair of dress shoes, though?
Yeah.
They're not they look like dress shoes. Some of them are not. They're more like like casual / dress shoes. Some of them. Yeah.
David, and then your closet like that?
No, so I have all my
organized.
baseball hats are stacked and shoved on a shelf. That's like a normal person.
Mine are everywhere around the house.
No, I like to put things in places, and so I know where they are. Everything I own, I know where it is because it's always in the same place.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is a level of whatever that I don't have.
Did your wife know that about you when she met you?
Yes.
Is she this way?
No, she's not as organized as I am in this regard.
So her side of the closet looks like a complete mess.
I'm not going to show you her side of the closet, but it's not as organized as my side of the closet.
What are you doing? What are you doing in the closet, by the way? This isn't.
Yeah.
Because where I normally record, my son just got a new video game, so he's playing that. And then my wife's in the other floor watching TV very loudly, and so I have to go up to a place that's quiet. And I just decided to go in the closet.
Do you think you'll ever come out of the closet?
Tom Cruise.
I will eventually come out of the closet.
That South Park episode.
Yeah. But it's comfortable in here.
All right. Well, that was our topics this week. Was this a long episode, or is this a? Oh, by the way, it was good find on the Norwegian story. That, although I would have assumed that happens every day in Norway. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
What the biggest part of that story is not that they found something so amazing and such an artifact. It's that they left it in a towel for 2 years before going, maybe we should get this checked out.
That's because you live in Norway. It happens all the time, I guess.
2 years.
You can't go barefoot in potato fields in Norway. You'll cut your foot on a discovered sword. Everyone knows that. Everyone
on a Viking sword.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's good to be back. Hopefully we can get back on schedule here.
Definitely.
Omar, I might see you in the near future, and
yes.
I guess Josh, I won't see you in the near future. I don't know now.
Yeah,
we'll see each other.
We have nothing on the calendar.
All right. Well, no, that's not true. We're going to be together in Miami.
October.
That's right.
Yes.
So we may do a live episode here in the upcoming months. Well, everyone, thanks for listening this week. We're happy to be back together and glad to be back with you. We'll look forward to next week. Until then, see you later, everyone.
See ya.
Oh, yeah.